Hey guys, Cleanblade here, bringing another Pokemon TCG online video, and today is a Talk Thursday, and today I just want to talk about Pokemon a little bit, about basically the new set and how you guys feel on it. For me, I think the new set was a good set. Overall, I think there was a lot of good cards in this set. As you can tell, I am playing the new Giratina in this deck, though I got a really bad hand and I'm probably going to lose the game because of it unless we top deck into something. But other than that, I think this card sets are pretty good so far from what I've seen of Ancient Origins. The only downside, I think, is that they might have somewhat kind of ruined the standard format, and a lot of people might disagree with me with this, but it's hard to tell. And I say they kind of ruined the standard format because basically the supporters they printed just aren't very strong, if you get what I'm saying. Basically, the only strong supporter after the rotation, of course, will be Sycamore and maybe Birches, but Birches is technically like a hit or miss Shauna, if that makes sense. Like, if you flip tails on Birches, you're just really far behind and you're probably going to lose the game. But if you flip heads on Birches, it gives you a +3 or a +2 compared to Shauna, and it's really good. Now, there's a lot of cards and stuff like that could really play a factor into everything that is going down, essentially. You have Hoopa EX, which could play consistency factors, Shaman EX, consistency. So you kind of do have those consistency engines, just not in the form of supporters anymore. So the bad thing about this is that people will feel more obligated to do things such as, what would you say, play Skyfield and stuff like that. That's what I was looking for. Because other than Skyfield, there's not much more that you'd want to run because you want to get all this consistency from the lack of supporters that we're getting. Well, lack of good supporters. There are supporters there that you just aren't very good. There isn't a lot of draw power supporters. Chorus is gone and it's gone. It kind of all hurts and sucks just a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. But they're still there, so that is something that we do have to remember, is that they're still there, and that does matter. Even if it's the slightest bit, it still does matter, if that makes sense. So we do have to keep that in mind. And basically, the key thing here is, I think it's mostly downhill, mostly because of the supporters. Like, all the Pokemon in Ancient Origins that came out were really good. They're really good consistency cards. You got Hoopa, you got Sceptile, you got Giratina, stuff like that. It's all really good. You even got the new Lugia with Aerial Ball, which is halfway decent. It's like the new Mewtwo, essentially. But other than that, you really don't got too much that is really overly good, if that makes sense. And we really need cards that are just like super good at this point in the game. We really just want things that are just basically supporter help, if that makes sense. We don't want these slower, deader cards anymore. We want the good cards, if that makes sense. We don't want these like meh cards. They do nothing for us in the current standard format. So that's why I think they need to change something, even if it's the slightest bit of something, if that makes sense. It could be basically anything, and I think they should change it. Now, a lot of people would disagree with me on this. They say, oh, it'll only be wonky for a little bit because we're used to having strong supporters like Chorus and Anne and Juniper, all in the same format. I can agree with you on that part, that it might be just that it might just be us overreacting, essentially, and just being like, whoa, we need to chill out, if you know what I'm saying. Everything would be just fine, essentially. But at the exact same time, I can't say that that is 100% true, because in all honesty, I don't think it will be. We are used to having these big, bulky supporters, yes, and we are used to running Junipers and Choruses and stuff like that, but Ace Trainer and stuff just isn't good enough, and Hex Maniac just isn't good enough to slow down everything enough, if that makes sense. That's at least my opinion. On the Pokemon standpoint, I think Ancient Origins is a great Pokemon set. They give you a budget version for all your sets, essentially, and all that, and I think it's just a really, really, really nice thing to do for us, if that makes sense. I think it's a really good set, and I think a lot of people will like it, and I think without the good Pokemon, if this set was kind of like Primal Clash, I think a standard format would be 100% completely dead, and there'd be no way around it. It'd just be dead, if that makes sense. But because we actually do have strong supporter Pokemon, we'll have Sceptile and Hoopa and Vileplume even, just as those like turn 1 gimmicks and stuff like that. So those are the things that we really, really like to see. And I don't know, I think that Ancient Origins just kind of lacked a real good item base. Like, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to show you guys real quick, kind of like what I'm talking about, if you guys get what I'm saying. Like, the EXs and the Pokemon of the Ancient Origin sets is actually pretty good. Like, the Ampharos EX, it gives you a little bit of electric hype, you know, Paralyzed Lock, kind of like the Crisis Vine, Mega Venusaur, except it has a Spirit Link, and you can heal all the damage off that you take from it with Rough Seas, so you don't even have to worry about that. But even besides the EXs, you got cards like Jolteon, Change a Lot. You guys got Vespiquen, we have Unknown, we have even things like this Registeel. It has potential to be good in the right circumstances. You knock off a bunch of special energy, or a bunch of energy that's just game changing, let's say, and like a Mega Gardevoir or something, and that just changes the game. And there's a lot of situationally good cards in the set, and I actually really like the Pokemon in the set itself. I think it's a really good set. You got like cards like Ariados for funner decks. You got the Entei and stuff like that. I think the Pokemon in this set are really, really good. But then once we get to the trainer line in this set, I think it goes completely downhill. I think they could have done better. Basically, in my opinion, the only thing that's really overly good in the new set is Force of the Giant Plants and Level Ball. But other than that, everything else isn't very great. We got a reprint on Trainer's Mail. They made a full art Steven for no reason. I don't think Steven's even slightly good in the slightest bit. So I wish they would have put their full art somewhere else. But other than that, like, we only have Ace Trainer really that's really any good. We have Hex Maniac. It's very situational, and to be honest, people say it's going to be really good, but not really, in my opinion. You're going to end up shutting down a lot of your guys' decks already. Because you're going to want to have to use it first turn. The only time it's good, if it's, let's say you're playing Vespiquen, you have a decent E down and you're versing an Aegislash, and you already can KO it, but you just need to get rid of the ability. That's, in my opinion, are the times like Hex Maniac will show its priority. But other than that, it's really not that great. Even the Faded Towns aren't very good. This set kind of seemed to focus more on the Pokemon set, which I can't complain about that. I just hope that later on, the next set, we actually do get good supporters for Standard. Because right now, the expanded format is going to be kind of broken. You're going to have a lot of stuff crammed into a lot of things, and it's kind of going to be a broken format for probably a little while until more and more sets come out, and then it'll probably stay even more broken, kind of like how the Unlimited format is pretty broken with like Life Dew, Junk Arms, stuff like that. It's just really broken, but that's what Expanded seems like it's going to be turning into, and I'm just not really excited for the new Standard format or the new Expanded format. I think it will be kind of iffy. But yeah, you guys let me know down in the comment section below how you guys feel about the new sets and the rotation of the sets and stuff like that. I want to know your guys' opinion. I know I probably didn't make too much sense this video. It's more just like a ramble on the video and how I feel about the new set and the rotation that's coming up and stuff like that. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for breaking 50 subscribers on my YouTube. I don't know what we're going to do for you guys yet, but who knows, maybe I'll crank out an extra video a week or something for you guys breaking that margin for me. I guess I'll just have to think of something to do for you guys. But other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to say have a great day, and we'll see you guys on Sunday with a new deck profile. So peace out.